The Final Destination movies are cautionary tales. Friday the 13th taught us to never go camping. A Nightmare on Elm Street said to never fall asleep. These movies tell us to never survive tragedies or do anything ever. This story of noble Alex having visions which saves some of his classmates from dying in a plane crash, only death is as ruthless as the Terminator, as it'll use all tools necessary in the house to finish the job, may be the best board game adaptation ever made, but it also began life as a script for a potential episode of The X-Files from writer Jeffrey Reddick, inspired by a story he read of a woman who had a vision that she shouldn't get on a plane which later crashed, and also by the 1984 movie Soul Survivor, until New Line Pictures thought it'd work best as a feature film, and how we'll make this a slasher series with an invisible force that'll save us on the mask budget. On board for director was James Wong, as he and Glenn Morgan contributed to the script too, and both were writers on The X-Files, plus cinematographer Robert McLaughlin later worked on Black Christmas '06, which Glenn Morgan directed, and composer Shirley Walker would score that film too. All of them had one goal in mind: do for planes what Jaws did for the water. Joke's on you, my fear of flying started with the Concorde Airport 79. But don't worry, I'm sure Final Destination will make me shit my pants too. As the movie begins by fooling you into thinking it's the Bruckheimer logo, there's already lots of things here that could kill you, whether it's Psycho Kong, accidentally ripping your face off by doing a cool Darth Vader voice in the fan, or death by embarrassing passport photo. Better pack everything important. No, you forgot something. You'll wish you had Death of a Salesman for light airplane reading. What in the world class is he taking? It's gotta be the same Vatican class we stumbled into in The Devil Inside. And the previous owner of the book was driven mad trying to get to the end of this required reading. I'm already a big fan of Devon Sawa's Alex character. He's a teen who admires the works of John Waters. It's okay if I talk over the plot. Dad will sum everything up.
So, 17, on the loose, senior trip with your friends in Paris, 10 days in the springtime.
Exposition Dad is this close to going on a faith-based rant.
No, I'm missing all the fun.
No, you're missing all the sin.
They haven't even stepped foot on the plane, and Death is already out for this kid. Clearly, Death is more of a Pink Flamingos fan than Pecker. And it's messing with his alarm. 180 will pop up a lot in this, as one of the working titles was Flight 180. Lame. Stick with Sawas on a plane. The number 180 will also be an ongoing trademark of the franchise too. Plus, in the original script, they were all complete strangers who survived the crash. But if we're gonna do a horror film in this time period, we want to see some teens get blown up but good. As much as the filmmakers tried distancing it from being called the slasher, they need to hurry up too. The cast are already featured on TV series at the time, like Dawson's Creek, which made the shooting schedule a little long, possibly why Sawa actually did fall asleep in the earlier shot. Everything seems a little off at this airport, especially the small talk.
Same as your birthday.
What?
September 25, 9:25. Your birthday is the same as your departure time.
Are you flirting with me? Folks, what are you doing? Save the wacky sex romp for when you get to Paris. You watched Euro Trip in class when the teacher was hungover. It does a good job of making the plane look as scary as a shark. That's a whole lot of nope! And it still throws in a sense of humor, like when they take a shit beforehand so they don't stink when flirting with the girls.
Do you want them to associate you with that watery sting in their eye, that reflexive gag at the back of their throat?
But I heard they're into poop stuff. The camera makes everything look a little off, subtly implying that it's a doomed flight, from changing a lot of the perspectives instead of just square shots, and later on washing out some of the colors too when death is approaching. Let me just say that as someone who does have a tremendous fear of flying, and have never flown sober in the past 20 years, this works. I know the feeling of watching everyone act perfectly fine while my complimentary drink is my own freaking sweat. It's easy knowing who will get off the plane. There's Sean William Scott. He's the comedy relief. We've got to rescue him. Good God, just watching the normal mechanics of the plane still makes it feel like the opening photography scene from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Watching this is actually hard to take notes on because I'm also grasping the handle of my armchair. The sequels would get more over the top in their opening disaster scenes, but for me personally, this was the most effective. I guess it all depends on which of these movies is the closest to your actual fears. Nope. I knew I should have taken the bus across the ocean to France. Guys, you're over water. You'll be fine. And at least his copy of Death of a Salesman is safe.
Alex?
Yep, it's about that time he asked the flight attendant to speed up the drink cart. I'm not saying that I would have joined Alex in getting off the plane, because I wouldn't have been on this thing to begin with. Look at it! That plane is gonna eat me! They're not looking at the bright side of the situation. With everyone else in class gone, that means you can have some wacky shenanigans of your own, holdovers style. Plus, I can get on my phone to triple check that that's not Carla Gugino playing Mrs. Luton. It's okay, Paris is overrated anyway. If you've seen Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown, something was gonna catch fire there too. And they're only on a soundstage, and that's a model plane, and no one's gonna die.
You fucking brat! Oh shit!
And this has been What If It Exploded, hosted by me, Lloyd.
Oh my god, not only did they not survive landing in the water, but now frickin' C student Carter is the valedictorian. Is it too soon for an I told you so? Honestly, I think they only survived because, like a lot of other characters, they have the same last names as other directors and horror movie stars, like Alex Browning being named after Todd Browning of Freaks, or Detective Siegel named after Don Siegel, and Daniel Roebuck, he was just sent there by Sam Gerard. Sometimes it gets carried away with the names.
I'm Agent Ween, this is Agent Shrek.
Take your pick, this Max Shrek, that Max Shrek, or this Shrek. I understand why they'd want to question him, but it's doubtful that he blew up the plane.
If that's the case, Alex, then why did you really get off the plane?
Because I was promised first class. I love that no matter how huge the tragedy or how intense the questioning, the hat stays on. Some of the inspiration also comes from the TWA Flight 800 disaster of 1996, as they used real footage from that, but I'm more distracted by you fell asleep watching this like it's a date movie. Mom, Dad, can we please watch something more uplifting, like Fearless? Death isn't wasting any time stalking his ass. I guess that manhole cover was also supposed to be on the plane. The dead students would have loved this memorial, though they would have asked that the statue not be something with wings on it. Seriously, maybe it should be a giant asshole, since that's what most of the students are.
I hope you don't think, Browning, because my name ain't up on this wall, that I owe you anything.
You kinda do, bro. Here's where it gets into some silliness, like the other characters still hating Alex's guts, and even the teacher wanting nothing to do with him. Dude saved your lives! I'd be standing this guy for eternity. Billy has the right idea. Take advantage of Alex's psychic abilities.
If I ask how Cynthia passed her, will she say no?
And please tell me Finch isn't banging my mom. At least one person thanks this man.
Because of you, I'm still alive.
Let me stop you there. The editors are gonna cut our love scene. While it is the death scenes that I remember the most from these, it's nice going back and remembering that it is a well-shot film. Get in the good cinematography before embarrassing toilet deaths, or when they find your porn collection. The hell kind of things are you into? Get yourself a good God-fearing penthouse like Alex. That's better than the papers. What? Why didn't the article use a picture of me? I'm the hero here. I'm a shoo-in for college.
I said college. I have no interest in Hogwarts right now.
Poor Todd's gotta be the first one to go. Death was not a fan of his eulogy. Could have used more heart and hanging. Lord almighty, these death scenes make it clear the director would later write an episode of 911. Speaking of...
And now it's time for Lloyd's out of context 911 Lone Star clip of the week.
Well, you'll all be hearing from the chief. Enjoy your suspension.
So, what are your guys' new career paths gonna be once Paragon owns our souls?
On second thought, I'll also take the bus.
We're back, and Death is a considerate force in this one. He cleans up his crime scene. We don't want anyone who wasn't on the plane slipping. Even after Todd's death, they're still pissed at him for saving lives.
You caused Todd so much guilt over George staying on the plane, he took his own life.
Will everyone get off my ass?
You son of a bitch, if you would let him die on the plane, we could have won a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. But anyway, as Clear works on being a Steel Town girl on a Saturday night, she's the artistic one in the group. She does all of her sculptures based on her love for the PBS logo. Forget doing any kind of crime solving, they know that they're in a horror movie. Go right to the source, the mysterious character who will know all the answers.
Please, you'll wake the dead.
Yes, Tony Todd is here with sinister lines. Obviously, he'll tell us what's going on. We're glad you're here. We're gonna wake up Lynn Shay and ask if she'd tell us anything. Make sure you talk, like any minute now, bees are gonna come from your mouth.
In death, there are no accidents, no coincidences, no mishaps.
That's a guy who always has the moody blues playing in the workroom. It's theorized that Tony Todd is playing the physical embodiment of death, but the creators say that that's not the case. But him being death makes the most sense. Otherwise, why does he know all the rules? Why is he so weird? Why does he say, "I'll see you soon"? It can't just be because he works in a morgue. His freaking name is Bloodworth.
And you don't even want to fuck with that Mac Daddy.
And I just really want Death to say words like Mac Daddy. Alex is getting to be an expert on death omens too. If the camera whirls around and there's a reflection, there's gonna be a brilliant shock to the audience coming up, not to mention the music. Ooh, that's the title. Someone's gonna die. Can't kill Billy yet. We still need the laughs. Can't kill Carter either. We still need the asshole of the movie to stick around. And he's gotta grow into the asshole deputy for My Bloody Valentine 3D. Sorry, that just leaves the hot girlfriend. My god, I wouldn't trade seeing this moment in theaters for the world.
You can just drop fucking dead.
The collective holy shit from the audience was so loud that I completely understand why after test screenings they needed a longer shot of the Alka-Seltzer to give the audience enough time to settle down. This was well before carelessly walking into the street and then being hit by something was an overused cliche, so it was insanely effective. Especially when you watch it at home and can freeze frame it. This poor kid is getting traumatized by the second. He has no time for Dad announcing he's been inducted into the Robert Urich Lookalike Club. 'Cause the nightly news has discovered the cause of the explosion and, more importantly, shown the seating arrangement where we find that Death is a geek for numbers and order. Death's very OCD in this. They all must die in the order they were supposed to die in on the plane. Because if they don't, we'll ask Professor Morgue again. What if it's not even Death? What if it's some creepy-ass Annabelle doll situation? Why does she have that? And for the love of God, the man saved you once. Let him do it again.
Hi, this is Valerie Luton. I need Agent Shrek.
He's out for the moment. Perhaps Agent Lugosi could help. You damn fool, Death wasn't gonna let the air out of her tires. Highway accidents are the second film. Death has something more simple in mind here. Could be due to the seating pattern on the plane, could be when they play music from artists who died in plane crashes. But here's where the series really starts playing the what's it gonna be game. Will it be the hot water? The gas stove? Wait, I know what it's gonna be. A sad waste of alcohol, and these old computers being a fire hazard regardless of vodka dripping inside of it. Quick, remember everything you learned from playing the Doctor Classic Life and Death on that computer. Never mind, she may not come back after that. Alex arrived just in time for the police to suspect him even further. Also Candyman's doing. Here, though, he still has the comic reliefs he can rely on.
Hey, Alex.
Oh man, I did my homework for Miss Luton's class for nothing? This is a horror series where it really doesn't matter if they split up or stay together. It's not like the killer's hiding out somewhere. Well, except maybe in the teapots. And giving these two some alone time since they were supposed to hook up.
You think they're still up there? Somehow? Flight 180, are they still in flight? Somewhere? Are they safe?
Ugh, figures you'd be into trauma poetry. Billy is more my speed. The more trauma happens, the more you fine-tune your jokes.
Tell me I'm gonna get to see the Jets win a Super Bowl.
I knew I should have filled up Tammy in the pool that time.
Billy is the Tom of his school. I like this theory they're testing. If Carter isn't the next one to die, does that mean he's now invincible? He's been waiting his whole life to do every single Burt Reynolds driving stunt in 5 minutes. Why are they freaking out? A train accident is exactly how you know if you have unbreakable powers. Other cliches that it does well too are, yep, figures, car won't start. But here it makes sense that that would happen on top of the continued surprising deaths.
You're dead! And you ain't taking me with you!
He does not have unbreakable powers. But they'll be enjoying his jokes in heaven. Aw man, why did I spend so much money on a facial? Let's take a break while they mourn Billy's death. Actually, they seem fine.
How many made it?
Just you, I'm afraid.
Something beyond life is watching her. Sole survivor. It will never rest.
We're back, and Alex has the perfect place to hide out. The cabin from Lake Placid. That really is the same cabin. He's only got to worry about crocodiles storming in after him. It'd be much worse if he was held up in the cabin from Black Sheep.
Shut up!
I'm surprised that isn't how Billy died. At this point, I'd want death to take me. I guess this is my life now. Wearing gloves to slowly eat canned goods so the lid doesn't slice an artery. Who amongst us wouldn't want to live out our days like the last episode of Breaking Bad? There's a mistake, though. He's not the next in line because Death remembered the original seating arrangement before the switching of the seats. That's right, Death hates when you ignore his assigned seating. Or maybe it was the dog who's next because he skipped out on the trip due to a case of worms. As for Alex, he's also testing out the invincibility theory by doing all the Mission Impossible stunts. Christ, even the dog knows to run away. You can live without cable for 1 day. This is not the time to climb the house and duct tape the wires back together. She really did something to piss it off. Some get a quick death, while now it's coming for Clear so hard, he'll turn her whole goddamn house into an amusement park attraction. He's creating a haunted house before he gets to roller coasters in part 3. Is this still Death, or did Alex open the Necronomicon when he was hiding in the cabin? So they take a wild stab at figuring that if Alex takes the hit instead, it'll break the cycle, temporarily killing him till he's brought brought back, and then Death will just give up because he maintains order in the rules for himself too. Or Death just takes a holiday and gives them 6 months of peace before continuing the cycle. You can tell this ending is a reshoot. The original ending had Alex dying, but Clear was spared from death because she was pregnant with Alex's child, making Death a champion for the family unit. Whereas the new ending, where they vacation in Paris, is the most unrealistic thing in the film. Yes, I can buy all the supernatural elements, but what I don't buy is that they'd ever get on a plane again.
Paris. I can't believe it.
You know, I just can't believe we got on a plane again. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't believe it. Was Death waiting for them to travel again so he could take advantage of his frequent flyer miles? A majority of the flick is very clever, well acted, with likable heroes, but the ending is just a typical gotcha ending where he figures out that Death did not skip over him. Okay, if he never figured that out, would nothing have happened? Death strikes seconds after he put more puzzle pieces together.
I told you were next. And it just skipped me. So who's next?
Well, at least one of you will be in the sequel. Despite its flaws, it's still a good time to this day. It divided critics, but was immediately embraced by horror fans for scenes of genuine suspense, shock, and the creative kills which would become a staple of the series. Its box office numbers proved that we wanted these kinds of stock horror posters to continue into the 2000s. What are you doing, Final Destination Bloodlines? Where's all the sexy actors looking moody into the camera? Is this a sequel to Faces of Death? We had to wait a few years for Death to update his passport to get back to the United States, though. So in 2003, we got Final Destination 2.
Death has this grand design.
The end.
What did you see?
Is just the beginning. Final Destination.
I hope you're ready for this.
Rated R. Starts Friday.